Do the movie. You know,
I gave you the most.
okay. Oh, you killed. Okay. Yeah, you did. You sure did. Oh, I'm live. I'm live. Episode 14, man. I got my main man, Chris Cameron, on. South Georgia legend. Head high school basketball coach now. Had some pro experience. Uh, Obviously college experience. If you're familiar with Chris Cameron, he'll get on here and tell us more about his journey. But you know, I'm in the player development business as well, and Chris has been somebody that I've seen, even before I started, looking to help develop players and train. So it's always great to fellowship and talk the game. So let's bring him to the stage, my main man, Chris Cameron. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on with you?
Man, taking it easy. Going into all the fun questions, I like to, start off talking about, just random sports questions. You're a sports guy. So, favorite professional sports teams and all-time favorite athlete.
Oh man, favorite professional sports team. Well, right now I'm more like a players kind of guy. So
Right.
the guy I like right now, it's been Steph Curry probably about the last 8 years.
Right.
Kind of like the way he came on the scene and what they did out in Golden State,
Right.
and really what he brought to the game. I'm big on shooting the basketball.
Uh-huh.
So at one time, it was all about just dribbling and trying to get to the rim and dunk.
Mhm.
And what I did like about his ability to shoot as well as Clay is we start to see people really trying to learn how to shoot now.
Right.
So they're shooting the ball really probably at a higher clip now than in the past, especially the past 10 years.
Right. Yeah, and I had Coach Warren. Coach Warren is probably my second guest last year. Coach Cliff Warren. He's out of SMU now. He mentioned that in the night, I think from 1985 to like mid 1990s, they used to take 5 threes per game each team.
Yeah.
And now each team takes 30 threes apiece per game. So
it's crazy.
Definitely evolved. So question 2, Coach, 1 through 3, how do you rank Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron?
Oh man, that's gonna be, I probably get a lot of controversy about this, but everybody kind of know my position. I mean, I think Jordan is the greatest of all time, and just because the way he dominated the game at the guard spot, at the wing spot,
Right.
with his footwork, with his ability to score all over the floor. Yeah, I mean, I know scoring is not everything, but
Coach, let me interrupt. To me, it will get. Maybe I'm gonna add that question in here later. I've been kind of talking about that on IG, but go ahead with your. We'll talk about that theory. Right.
You hear like coaches call this and that, and all that's true, but in order to win, you got to score.
Absolutely.
So to see how he did what he did and the things he had to go through, and that's what I'm big on, like the process he went through.
Right.
What he did and to get on top and dominate. So that's why I feel like he's the great. I like Kobe next because Kobe brought that mindset.
Finally, man.
Yeah, like Kobe brought that mindset. Like like we real players, man. Like you got to have that mindset to not be afraid to take shots. Take that responsibility. Take on the best player or just make plays. Like. So, and then LeBron, I mean, I like LeBron's game because he's an overall great player. The thing that I just didn't like about LeBron was just his willingness not to take shots in the clutch moments, and you got the team on your back.
Right.
And I feel like even if he would have, like, if he'd have made some, if he'd have taken some shots and made them, he would have more championships.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm assuming I was just saying LeBron is going to be 3, but. I think that's been my take. Kobe was more of my era that I really got to watch and fully understand. I'm 35, so I got to obviously watch Jordan play, but I think like once my mind was like able to understand, like, oh, this is how this is how you dominate. Seeing Kobe and that, his persona, because my first guy was Penny. I have to say was Penny Hardaway, and I think he was in that same category. He had a few injuries, but. Penny was kind of like that guy that I saw, and then once Kobe came, it was just kind of like that same feel, but a new way of the dominance. And you know, like just looking at Jordan's game, you know, I study, you know, I like to study basketball, but big on the mid-range J, and being able to talk, watch Mike is impeccable with his footwork, like you said, his balance, the pure confidence, and just knowing how to get to his spots and never be in a rush. And I think some of the things that you talked about, we don't mention enough at. We say how easy it is, but we don't say how simple it is when you really break down what he's doing. From, you know, just 2 dribble pull up or a jab, shot fake, body contact. Now there's paces and stuff, but when you look at it, it's like, well, it's really fundamental basketball, you know, and then you got your counters accordingly, you know. So, okay. Well,
that's why I can appreciate it, because it's fundamental basketball. It looks fancy. It looks fancy because, you know, he's killing, you know. And I remember one play, and then I'll let you move on. When they were playing against New York Knicks.
Right.
And Jordan caught the ball on the right wing. And I think he dropped like the reverse pivot, like just dropped that left foot toward the baseline like he was going to sweep and go.
Right.
And Gerald Wilkins turned, man, he ran about 8 feet.
Right.
Jordan didn't go anywhere. But it was just his dominance to get by you so quick, his footwork, soul to drive. He didn't even go anywhere. And I didn't even think that was realistic. Right. So the time when I was playing semi-pro and I was guarding the guy, and a ball screen came and I jumped the ball screen and he crossed it. And when his cross and the space he created and me jumping to the opposite side, it probably was about 5 to 6 feet space between us. And so when I got to that level, I understood how, oh yeah, you can get beat like that because you got to anticipate.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
not, slow.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Great take. So, Coach, top 5 NBA players of all time, and this is just your opinion. There's or anything like from, you know, I guess from a standard, but what's your top 5?
Well, I'm gonna talk about guys, you know, like in my era, you know, and so I'm gonna go Jordan.
You gotta go Jordan.
I'm gonna go Jordan, Magic, Kobe, LeBron, and I probably got to go Kareem just as a, you know, guy that got it done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess my top 5 would be Kobe, Jordan, for sure. I like to throw Bill Russell in there because of how much of a winner he was.
Yeah.
And just to throw a new school player in, Damian Lillard. So that's 4. That 5th spot is tough for me because in college, I gave my number up to Dad because his dad wore that number, and we made a deal on it. And I went to 0, and partly because of Gilbert Arenas. So, you know what I mean? Him and Lillard are kind of, obviously one and the same. But yeah, so it's hard for me to leave him out. But yeah, I'll go ahead and throw Lillard. I'll go ahead and throw Lillard and Gilbert Arenas in there because that's my game. That's how, like I said, that's how I play. Hey guys, and if you're watching this, I'll try to peek down at my Facebook, but if you guys want to comment, just go to my YouTube, The Creative Athlete, and you'll be able to comment live and ask me and Coach any questions as we start to talk about his camp that's coming up. So segueing into that, Coach, tell me about your sports background and from obviously being born in Albany, right? Born and raised in Albany, and playing, kind of high school ball. High school ball is big in Albany, and then transitioning to college, pro, and then, obviously the journey to coaching. But give us a little bit of your sports background.
So I played Geordie High School, and I came out in '93. So that was kind of like the start of the real dominant '90s. We had D'Antonio Wingfield, Melvin Drake, Michael Sproul, Pertha Robinson. It was just a gang of guys that came out during that time. It's a few guys that came out years before us, but when you go back and look at it, a lot of people say the '90s was that time, that dominant time, pretty much where South Georgia was known as the hotbed in the South, and that's probably from Kentucky all the way down out to Texas.
Right.
South Georgia was really known as the hotbed of the South, and so those guys were really good though. Antonio Wingfield and Melvin Drake, those guys were a lot better than me early in my career. And in middle school, those guys were dunking. They were a little bit taller.
So was that your graduating class? Those guys that your name?
With D'Antonio, Melvin Drake, Antonio Smith. Those were like the big three name guys that were in my class, especially like coming into 9th grade.
Right.
D'Antonio and Antonio played at Westover, and Melvin played at Albany High.
Right.
And they played each other for the state championship as freshmen.
Right.
Yeah, and so I was still trying to, I just wanted to be on the varsity team. I didn't, I was just hoping I made the varsity team, and I didn't mind playing. I just, wanted to be on the team and say I'm playing varsity as a freshman. Well, those guys already knew they were going to be starting for their teams. But what happened was one of our players got hurt, Mark Davis, who was a senior, and when he went, coach threw me in the fire, and so I started probably about 75% of the games my freshman year, and so I was always behind a little bit, got to catch up. And so that was my motivation. Those guys had the name a little bit, and so that was my motivation. And so I just grind. I've always worked hard, had great work ethic, and that helped me get to a point by my senior year. Really, by my sophomore year, I took off. But senior year, when we graduated, I got player of the year in the region. I was run-up Mr. Georgia basketball.
Wow, who won that?
Jeff Shepard.
Oh, okay. Where did he go?
He went to Kentucky.
Okay, yeah, I knew that name sounded familiar. Okay.
So it was funny because, I was really pissed because I'm playing in the toughest region in the state.
Right.
I'm playing against Antonio Wingfield, who's a McDonald's.
He's at Westover?
Yeah, he's at Westover. He's a McDonald's All-American.
Right.
I'm playing against him. I'm playing against Melvin Drake, 6'6" point guard. Like I'm playing against, and I led that region of scoring. I averaged about 28 a game. I'm not sure what Jeff averaged.
Hey, wait, hold up. Wait, 28?
Yeah, I averaged 28 my senior year.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen, man. High school.
Yeah, I would just, the system that we had, it allowed me to be able to, get some shots up.
Right.
That was the Doherty system.
You had the green light.
Yeah, I had the green light. Yeah. And but Jeff signed with Kentucky. I signed with Tulane. So I think some politics was in that, you know what I'm saying? But Jeff was a great player. We played together on the Boston Shootout team, so I didn't knock him for him. But it happened. I went to Tulane, signed with Tulane. We had the number 3 recruiting class in the country. So I played with a guy named Gerald Honeycutt, who was a McDonald's All-American. And then Bradshaw Allen was ranked top 30. I was ranked top 50, and then my roommate Corey Childs was ranked like top 75. So we had a real good class come in, man, and we did some good things at Tulane. We just, in my opinion, I feel like we underachieved, with all the talent that we had. We just didn't, get to the level that we need to get to. But we all got a chance to go and play overseas a little bit, and I played over in Finland for 2 years, and I played in Iceland, 1 year.
Right. Yeah, shout out to Iceland. I love Iceland, man.
Yeah, me too.
Every time when I talk to other coaches about you, they know you very well over there.
Yeah, I stay in touch with Thomas Thomason, the agent.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought about going back to play. I had some things. I talked to a coach from the first division.
Yeah,
and that would be a challenge. I know I could play in the top league, but that would be fun to play and then help a team get to the first league. That that'll be like a new approach. Hey, so listen, my first time doing this, I haven't had most of the people on the stage. One of your guys and one of my guys too, Coach Jeremy Bradshaw, we're gonna bring him to the stage as well. He's gonna just kind of sit in with us, talk. We're gonna talk basketball, talk travel. And then he has a daughter, Kennedy, who's playing on the EYBL, doing her thing. She went to a camp 2 weeks ago, did well. Now, and we're going to talk. I'm really interested. That's why I wanted to bring him on, too, because I want to get his take on travel ball and what travel ball should we be playing. You and him both kind of make posts and status about that on and off. So we'll get to that question here in a second. What's up, Coach?
What's going on? Y'all doing?
Man, we doing good, man. Just talking the game, Coach. Hey, man, I ain't know Coach averaged 28 on these boys, man.
Oh, hey, tell you something about Chris, man. Me and Chris got a long history together, man.
Right.
So my story was a little different, and Chris's aunt helped me out along the way when I was grown. And
Wait, I'm sorry. Excuse Chris's aunt.
yeah, Chris.
Shout out to Chris's aunt. What's her name? Let's shout her out. What's her name?
What's her? Well, I can't remember her name. Coach what? Chris.
You talking about Coach Lassiter?
Coach Lassiter.
Shout out to Coach Lassiter, man. We appreciate your help.
She helped me out, man, and then I met Chris, and we started playing in like some tournaments over in Albany, where I think it was at the what was it, Albany, the Job Corps,
Job Corps.
And that's how me and Chris met. We met a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So Chris is really a part of my story, man, because he helped motivate me, Sharon Wright, to go back to school and go ahead and finish and get my degree and things like that. Chris, I remember having a long conversation. I don't know if he remember this. I was probably about 20 years old, man. And I remember being in Albany and Chris telling me, I was getting ready. I was like, man, I'm going to join the military, this, and this. And, and they was just like, people, I remember Chris talking to me about my dreams and stuff like that. We was at Turner at the time, I got a long list of people that kind of just helped me out. Me and Chris have known each other for 20 years, man.
Right.
But I wanted to ask Chris about a name, even though he came out after Chris. I played against this guy, LeVar Postell.
Yeah, Postell was a dog, man.
That was a monster, man.
Yeah.
Where was he at? Where did he go? Westover also? Westover,
He ended up getting drafted the late first round by the Knicks, right?
Yeah, he got drafted with the Knicks. Now, Postell was a freshman my senior year, so I didn't see much of him in high school. Heard about him because I was in college, so I heard about him.
Yeah, he was tough, man.
When I left college, he was just going to college. I was overseas playing. He was playing at St. John.
Right.
And drafted, but me and Postell used to battle in the summer times. We used to battle, because we both played the same position. He was a little bit bigger than I was, but that used to be one of my great rivalries in the summertime.
Right. Something to compete with.
But back then, man, like to get the good runs, man, we always went to Albany and we stayed outside and played at the park all the time.
Right.
Where was I can't remember that part where we used to play at all the time.
Well, there's a couple parts.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say either OE or probably Maple Park.
OE, that's where I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Jeremiah would tell me about OE. See, that's how I grew up. My skill set got developed in my backyard. We can't even get in the gym over here. So it's like outside, different courts. The courts I've been posting lately, that's a court that I grew up on, man. Like that's where my game. I don't know. I feel like that outdoor environment helped me thrive inside. You know what I'm saying?
Chris is gonna know this name too. A guy used to take me over to OE to play named Rod Ladd.
Oh yeah, Rod. Yeah, Rod was a beast.
I used to go with Rod and them over to Albany to play all the time, but I was a little jit then. They was a little older than me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's now I got two great basketball minds on here. Let's take a look at these Jordan clips, man. We'll watch a minute or two and just kind of go back and forth and make sure the volume's turned down. We'll kind of go back and forth on why shooting off the dribble is important, and then why being able to do this in a limited amount of dribbles is critical. All three of us, are shooters first, and now we're teaching, young men and women and pros how to do this as well. But this is who everybody that I brought on the show and asked the question. And before we go on, Jeremy, I'll ask you. I already know who your number one is going to be, but 1 through 3, how do you rank Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron?
Man, I'm a huge LeBron, but I can't go against Jordan. So Jordan's gonna be number 1, LeBron's gonna be 2, Kobe's 3. But I'm gonna be honest with you.
Whoa! Kobe's 3, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Player development person, the one person that I watch the most is Kobe Bryant.
Footwork, right?
I love it. You've heard
me
Kennedy about that.
Right.
Numerous of times, man. I hated him as a player, but I loved him after he retired to be able to watch him and watch his workouts and things like that.
Okay, so if you're watching, guys, I'm gonna take us off the screen. We're gonna let these MJ highlights be full screen, but we're still we're still here. So let me go. So here I love this shot, getting to the spot, shoulders forward.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite ways to train and teach. You see, I always train around the paint, coach.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? Shoulders forwards. It's about 1-2 and raising up. So your goal is, how I teach it is, when I'm attacking, that those shoulders are forward and at those hips, and I'm assuming that I'm going to go at a game speed enough to where when I take that one dribble, you're pushing back, and I'm raising up as you're pushing back. It still may be a lightly contested shot, but if done properly, I think it can be effective.
Yeah. Because when your shoulders forward like that, you're selling the drive.
Right.
And they got to retreat. If they don't retreat, you're smart enough where you keep going. But when they retreat, you go right into your pull up. That's really a difficult shot.
Right.
Yeah.
And on top of that, doing it with contact. So doing it attacking at an angle. But I think a lot of players, when they get that angle, they try to run away from the defender.
Yeah.
And I like to keep my defender, I like to teach the theory, you don't always have to be fast, like get to that spot. So these are just defenders backing up.
I mean, if you watch Jordan, man, he did everything
right
at a pace.
Right.
You was never going to speed him up. He wasn't.
That's tough.
So
this is him at 42. That's what we're talking about. This is at 40. One raise. See, so right, that's what I'm talking about right there, the change of pace. So now he's up at the peak of his jump shot.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like this is him at his most least athletic. Any young player watching this, any parent. So this shows that now it's also the end of the quarter. So you see it's about, if you see at the top of the screen, it's under 10 seconds. So he's kind of dribbling the clock out to get a shot. They're up 3 points. And he's just kind of pacing out, change of pace, trying to check to see how aggressive he is, and then you're able to get that pull up uncontested. That I don't see anything fancy about that outside of the IQ of knowing.
Yeah.
Take this shot, and then also being trained enough to make this a shot in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Same thing. Contact.
His spots, man.
Yeah.
You couldn't stop him from getting to his spots.
That was 40. I think he had 40 this game. Triple threat. Yeah, so that hezzy pull, man, they're still in that stance, and he's at the peak of his jump shot.
You got to respect that drive.
Right. Even at 40, that's what's crazy. It's him a little bit younger. But I think the beauty about this is showing you that was him at 40, and this is beginning right there. So see his back foot is still having to plant, and he's getting ready to raise up. Or that shot fake. But that's why also too, racing to that spot and then being able to shot fake with balance is just critical.
Yeah.
Triple threat, angle, jab, 1-2, contact. So that right foot is pushed back because he got contact, raise up. What do you guys think about that? Like, I have drills sometime where I'll make my guys purposely shoot with their feet kind of contorted in a weird way, but still working with shooting with the proper form. So meaning that you're still going to finish up top properly, but I might just have them balance a certain way or in a certain lunge where kind of how Jordan on this play right here where Jordan, he attacks. And if you notice how his feet was on the finish, right? Like you see his left foot is all off balance, but he's going to adjust in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm big on just trying to get guys to understand that they got to get back squared up.
Right.
Before they release it. But I'm trying to get them to learn how to elevate. Because if you don't get off the ground, then you don't have no time to square up.
Yes, I love that one right there.
And then you shoot off balance and things like that. Even though Jordan was off balance, you still square it up.
The thing is, with your footwork can be like, ideally we want our footwork to be hips apart, things like that. But everybody doesn't shoot like that.
Right.
And every shot's not always going to be the same, especially on the bottom up. But the one thing about it, you always have to get your shoulders and everything square to the goal.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I tell guys all the time. nuts to the goal, nuts to the goal. And that's what I mean by that. Your nuts should always be at that goal. You know, so like you're not always your footwork's not always gonna be the same, but your shoulders and hips,
you gotta finish.
They got to be the same.
Yeah.
Look at this one right here. This drive, attacking. This is what I mean right here. Attacking those hips with contact. 1, 2, contact, slam on break. So you get that little nudge, and now you can get what you guys talked about. That.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's super tough. Get into your spot, contact. 1, 2.
2. Elevate.
So notice how he lost the ball on that one, and then even with him losing the ball, then he stepped into it aggressive. So it's always in your feet. I always tell players shooting up top has to be easy, but your feet. See right here, he was losing it. Now watch how he steps into it. 1, 2, and then you know square to the basket as coach, as both of you guys said. Balance.
1, 2 step is big too.
Right. 1, 2. See, I like the 1, 2, and I like the hop as well.
Me too.
Spin, shot.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Class.
But even with that on that spin, his feet wasn't ideally perfect, but his hips and everything else is up and down.
Right. And then what coach said is as he jumps, so right there, he's not square, but then as he jumps,
he's squared up.
Yeah, he's squared up and he got everything aligned.
But great shooters do that.
Right.
Shooting the same shot every time, pretty much.
Every time.
1. So for the next couple, I'm gonna count the time. So I'll teach kids to score from 0 to 4 dribbles. The 0 is gonna be catch and shoot. The 1 to 4 is gonna be your dribble creation. If you're the quote unquote franchise guy, you might get 6 to 8. Luka, KD, Curry, Kyrie, they're gonna get a looser handle with it because they create well. But if you're a role player, 0 to 4. Go ahead, coach.
But we both know you're not getting 6, 8 dribbles.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I'm just throwing that out. You know
what I'm saying? Like,
that's true, coach.
A lot of kids feel like, oh, I can dribble the air out the ball to this, and this. And I tell Kennedy, if you got that first dribble, that second dribble, you got to get somewhere with it and get into your shot.
Right. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing too, guys, is a lot of these kids don't know, and you know it may not be been taught to them. You know what, and how. Because I mean, I learned that later on in my career. You know,
that's true.
Through drills where it's like 2 dribbles. You only got 2 dribbles. We even played games of no dribbles.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and so that was where I really learned how to move around, like how Jordan moving, like catch off the catch for the shot. 1 or 2 pull up, like that's when I really, and so I started incorporating that in a lot of things that I did with guys. And even when I first got to Albany State, we started doing things like that. And them guys, it was a challenge at first because they wasn't used to it.
Right.
No, but you know, the more they worked at it, they started to understand. You know, because in the college game, you don't have that kind of space. You got limited space.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this footwork right here. Or do you guys like the 1, 2, or do you guys like?
I mean, I like both. You know, on the drive, I prefer the 1, 2 more. Yeah.
See, it depends on the situation for me on the drive. So I like the 1, 2, like you said. If I'm driving and it's going to be one of those speed pull-ups, but if it's kind of off of a 3, 1 hop. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, so like off of ball screens, I definitely like the hop. Notice how early on in his career, he never really held his follow through. I never really noticed that. He didn't hold it as much. He used to kind of flick it more. That's tough right there. That's my favorite way to pull up right there.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, go back to that clip. That clip.
Right.
Not that one. The other one that the one that you really like. That favorite one. When he came off and he elevated on the
right here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say something real quick about it.
Right. I'm gonna slow it down even more so we can really see it. See how I always say shoulders forward. Let me slow it down to the lowest level. Okay.
Did he give him like an in and out?
Did he give what now, coach?
Did he give him like an in and out move?
I think it was 1 dribble, quick inside out. So coming off the ball screen, we got going down. So, my theory was when me and one of my players, we watched this whole video right here. And once Jordan went downhill, whether it was triple threat or off the dribble, max dribbles he took was 3. And his normal favorite rhythm is the 2 dribble pull up. And that's 2 dribble to shoot or 2 dribble to shot fake or 2 dribble to the fake half spin that he went to. So here we go. 1 dribble. And then he slams on break. So right there, that defender is going to run continuously.
Yeah.
Okay, what were you going to say, Coach?
So playing in a city league game, I think it was a city league game, or it was something going on. And I'm not going to call any name. I want to put nobody out there, but it was later on in my career. And, man, they were up. And I got it full court. They tried to deny me the ball, kind of like how they did Jordan, like when he split from Elo or whatever. And I got it, and I pushed it down. Maybe in about 3 dribbles, I got to that same wing right there.
Right.
I came to step up, and I gave him an in and out. And then that one hard dribble, like what Jordan just did, and elevated almost to that same peak, like really high in the air, got up in the air, and for the game winner.
Right.
Man, hey, that was one of my favorite, plays, past, post professional days.
Right.
And I was older, and this guy was a young stud, that was known to be a sniper and a killer on the court. You know how it is when you playing, it's almost like I'm still that guy, that kind of thing. So it's just like that move, and it's just like, you know what Kobe does when he make that? He put the arm up here like this. So I hit him with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We won the championship. That was tough right there, man.
Hey, you gotta love it, man. And it's even as a coach, I think even for us 3, we're all just kind of that natural competitiveness is always gonna stay in. Every once in a while, I see Coach Bradshaw throw up a video of him making 20 in a row, outshooting somebody in the workout. So, it's just for the for the love of the game, man.
Man, I just love studying, man. I love the game of basketball, man.
Right.
It's brought me so many memories, friendships. Man. Like without it, I wouldn't have had it.
Right.
Like it's kind of like, man, you can go anywhere in the world and you meet a basketball player. It's a brotherhood. You can sit down and talk for hours. It's no black and white. It's no race. It's none of that. It's basketball.
Right. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Let me pull my banners back up. So since we've been on skill set, most important skill set for players in today's game. And I've had just to give you some answers. I've had some guys say, I had one coach from Ellsworth College say landing on 2. I had Coach McCray say, what did he say? I don't want to lie. I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna put an edit here together. But I know it was something to do. Shooting was in both of their mix, but everybody tried to say a different answer as far as outside of shooting. But Coach Warren said listening ability. So being able to listen, but also not only listen, but listen and apply. So can you listen in a chaos? That's what I like to say with when I'm in a game. If I'm telling a player, hey, look, we're going 2-2-1 back to 2-3. And then I tell that one player and my shoot team is at the foul line, and then he just walks in the court. No, you got to be able to go tell your team and get everybody kind of, alert within the chaos. So, I felt Coach Warren on that with the listening. But Coach Cam, I have you answer, and then Coach Bradshaw, you can follow up. But what's the most important skill set for players?
I think I got to kind of give it a couple. I'll just break it down to 3. That I think they're very essential, especially for the high school level. And I think if they can do these 3 things, they have a good opportunity to stand out among their peers. And so, of course, it's shooting. You got to be able to shoot, which that's something you can work on to improve. And finishing, that finishing stuff, man, that's a pet peeve of mine that I see a lot of kids
miss layup,
jumping off one leg out of control. And when I'm at these AAU events, I'm looking, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, no, I'm saying it before the play even happens, and it doesn't matter if I'm my team or if I'm watching the team, because that's the right play to make. Most of the time that's the right play to make. But a lot of these kids, they have no idea how to do that. And then the last thing I'll say is just being able to have a decent handle, not super fancy, but being able to dribble the basketball and try to get by a defender with 1 or 2 moves.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. What you got? What you got, Coach?
I think shooting is important, especially in today's game.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the game 1 through 5, you got to be effective. Because
now, when you say this, do you mean every position, or are you just saying mostly guards?
no, I think every position.
Every position out here.
Reason being because me and Chris have talked about this before. Basketball is a positionless game now.
Right.
Like I'm not okay just because you're big doesn't mean you're gonna stay at the 5 or the 4. No, because Aaron Jones is a 6'11" slasher.
Right.
And he can step out and shoot the ball, 25 feet out.
Right.
But what we have here in Middle Georgia, like, oh, he's big, he's got to play that position.
Right.
When you go to Atlanta or you go to North Carolina, you see these basketball players. You got guys 6'11", they stepping out shooting threes. They
right.
Jabbing and pulling up. Jabbing, no dribbles and pulling up.
You're right.
Shooting and everything. That's number one, of course. I think finishing is up there too, because great guards, great forwards, you got to be able to finish with either hand at any angle.
Right.
What we try to teach, like, okay, if you're 5'8", you got a 7-footer here, so you got to throw that running hook out there.
Right.
I tell kids, like I tell Cam this all the time, not this Cam, but my Cam. Suck the air out the room when you get down there with them bigs. You don't no air in between you and that big. Why? Because if you put your shoulder into him, I can get this out there like that.
Right.
He can't jump through me, so he's got to go through me. If you give him that space, it's a different ball game.
So it sounds like both of you saying you guys are also hitting what Coach Ben Tanoff hit on. Landing on 2 is very important because it for the balance.
Most of them, yeah.
Right.
Third thing, man, really, to be honest, is just footwork.
Right.
And knowing what pivots to use. And a lot of times you get guys in the gym and they're college players and they don't know how to reverse pivot with a right and a left. They only know how to go one way.
Right.
Things like that, and teaching them stuff like that. I think that's very important. Because if you got good footwork, and Luka proves this every game, you got good footwork, doesn't matter how athletic you are, you can score.
Yeah.
Right.
His footwork is crazy.
Right.
So, and that's what for me.
So both of you guys played in college, and then Coach Cam, you coached in college, and then now you're coaching in a high school. You're helping kids get to college. So you've always stayed in the realm of player evaluation. You have a travel program, so you're always evaluating players. Coach Bradshaw, you're training youth players, pros, college players, you name it. And let's look at this from the male and female perspective, because I'm sure it's similar. But what makes a kid stand out? And obviously I can relate to it. But if a parent is saying what can give my kid the it factor, what would you guys say?
I take that. So what I saw a lot and what I heard a lot of college coaches talk about, and this is from the boys' side, but I'm pretty sure it relates to the girls' side, it's the ability to know the IQ, knowing how to play. That's pretty much what most of the coaches that I talk to, and that's from the offensive side and the defensive side. And it's transition, half court, just knowing how to play, making the extra pass.
Right.
These are little simple things. The thing that I see a lot of kids don't do is basically taking them away from what coaches are really looking for.
Right.
Like, the extra pass. I see kids go in there and finish a tough one over 3 defenders, and it's a guy in the corner wide open.
Right.
And the coach is evaluating. It's like, man, that's a bad play.
Right.
But the kid thinks it's a play. He scores it. He does this. But
so I'm assuming Coach Bradshaw, that's why you're gonna take LeBron, because LeBron will drive it. And he still makes those tough ones, but he'll get a guy wide open corner 3.
I think LeBron's great at a fault. LeBron. The reason I like LeBron is because he's always going to try to make the right play.
Yeah.
Right.
matter what anybody says, no matter what pressures, no matter what the media says, he's gonna stay be LeBron. And I think that's. I mean, I've just always been a LeBron fan. I love watching him play. Right now, I hate but I think it's everybody in the NBA. I hate the whining. I hate that.
Yeah,
and he does that a lot.
Well, the referee, I think they did a good job. And Coach Cam, I want to get back to you so you can finish. But I thought the league did a good job at like allowing a little bit more foul, and it made them have to be tougher because they were, in some cases I thought the refereeing was bad, but it was just them. I don't know if they're just trying to reinvent the league and not allow guys to get so many, foul attempts.
You got to think. When we grew up, they didn't call the stuff that they call now.
Right.
You gonna I remember being, you shoot jump shots, you're gonna get tapped on your elbow.
Right.
You're gonna get tapped every time.
Yeah.
They're not calling that back then. They call it now.
And yeah.
A different generation, but us old heads feel like there still got to be some sort of toughness to the game. And the fouls, nobody wants to watch a game where we're watching 80 free throws.
Right.
We don't want to watch players walk up and down the court yelling at the referee while another going down the court dunking the basketball.
Right.
And I think that's just what happened to it. To be honest, I love watching girls basketball.
Yeah.
It's just more fundamentally sound.
True. Yeah, Coach. So, Coach, you want Coach Cam, go ahead and take back over. And I don't know if you were finished, but I know I kind of went off on a tangent on LeBron.
I was just saying, making the right plays is very important. Again, being able to shoot the ball is important nowadays. Because it's positionless basketball, and the more guys that can knock down shots, it makes the offense a lot more deadlier.
Right.
And I think the third thing would be more so just being able to create, in limited dribbles, and people got to be able to see it,
Right.
Yeah, it ain't got to be flashy. They just got to know that you could. I had a kid. I had a guy to send me something last night, 2 nights ago, on a kid, and I got so anxious because the school had reached out to me. They was looking for a player to bring in this week, and the guy sent it to me. I watched about 4 clips, and I said, "Oh." It was like midnight. I didn't know who to call. Guys landing in bed with their families and stuff like that. But I was so anxious. I was thinking of who can I call? I got to get this to somebody because this kid can go. So things like that, you just got to know how to play.
Right.
How to shoot. You got to know how to get to your spot and make the right play. Take the shot. That's it. When you're doing things like that, and I saw one kid this summer with Wood Elise, a kid named Jay. Bull, and man, that's how he played, man. All his stuff was in 2-3 dribbles. He took what the defense gave him, knocked down threes, knocked down mid-ranges, got to the cup, finished with dunk. It was just super basketball, man, and he's really created some buzz for himself.
They got a good girls program too.
Yeah.
And he created his buzz off of just being able to
playing with, and most of the guys on the team were playing similar to it. I mean, they had a good team of guys that really buy into playing the right way, and the guy that's coaching them play that. You probably know Mr. Dixon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's his team, so he played at Kennesaw State, but it just, you see these guys want to get coached. That's another thing.
Right.
Coaching. These guys want to, Spencer, on the sideline, he's getting into these guys.
Right.
I don't he's how these coaches get. He's into them, and then they respond. You don't see that bad body language. So those little things like that, that's going to be the it factor. When the coach can chew you out and you can get back out there and play, and you go out there and make plays the right way, you're going to stand out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Coach, Coach Bradshaw, before we let you answer, let's take a look at this article was posted. I want to say, in 2017, actually. So, Brad Stevens says Celtics have 3, not 5 positions. Let me see. have three and have three, not five positions. So okay, so the new era of the basketball requires versatility to win, and the Boston Celtics are adjusting. I don't have the five positions anymore. Celtics, Coach Brad Stevens said. It may be as simple as three positions now, whether you're either a ball handler, wing, or a big. It's really important. We've become more versatile as the years have gone on. The idea of positionless basketball has come to the forefront with the Golden State Warriors, who have dominated with their ability to play small ball. While Steph Curry is considered the point guard, he can also easily play off the ball with his scoring ability, just like Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala, and Draymond Green do. Boston is now trying to replicate this, especially after several notable additions to the lineup. So this was back when they had Gordon Hayward announced he was signed with the team via the Tribune. So, and then obviously, having Tatum and Brown, and they're still having success with that. I think Brad Stevens is still in the office, crafting that together over there. But that's kind of the hit on what you were saying, Coach, about everybody needing to shoot the three as well. So, So, Coach, what you got, Bradshaw, for it factors for a high school player looking to get noticed?
First of all, like Chris, first thing, you have to be coached. Second, I agree and talked about this today because everybody's been posting. But you got to understand the role too.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I tell kids all the time, when you go to college, a coach is not looking for certain players to score, certain players. They want you to do your role and be good at your role.
Right.
Your role is screening and rolling to the basket or popping out and shooting threes. That's your role. If you're running off screens, that's your role. If your role is boxing out, grabbing the rebounds and pushing the tempo up the floor, that's your role, but you have to be good at it. I think a lot of the kids don't understand what their roles are. And I think that has to do with we live in this generation is we got to score. We got it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. And it's never about we. Like when I went to that thing with Kennedy the other day, I watched girls shoot horrible shots like the whole time. And they would do write-ups about them. And they say, well, this girl had 10 points. Well, she shot the ball 32 times.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, and you're going to put her on Twitter and make Twitter believe that she had this great camp. And to be honest, I'm sitting here like, what are you looking at? Because she was horrible.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, the one they did a write-up about Kennedy, and the one thing that they said about her, she was the one that would dive on the floor.
Right. Play hard.
She would go get loose balls.
Right.
So I think, understanding your role and being, good at it. High school wise, understanding defenses, understanding your position, understanding how to rotate, and talk and communicate. Communicate is a big part of basketball.
Right.
Many kids don't know how to communicate. Chris, how many kids did you get at Albany State coming from high school that didn't know how to communicate on the back end of a defense?
A lot.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't teach these things.
Yeah.
Right.
Trainers, we don't. I just talked about it on Facebook. We don't teach being mentally prepared and strong anymore. We teach, we're going to shoot a three. We're going to do a hero here. We're going to do this. But we don't push these kids to the test where it's like, okay, if you fail, if you miss this, you don't have what are you going to do the next game?
Yeah. Well, I think kind of hitting back on what's the most important skill set. That's one of my key components because we talk about Michael Jordan, we talk about Kobe, we talk about LeBron, but each of their greatness was different. But the mindset of those guys, like whether it's the IQ of LeBron, the dominant mindset of Kobe, and then just to get it done type of mindset of Jordan, it's still that mindset. It's still that being off most of the game, still not showing any body language change. That's one thing I didn't like about LeBron because I think for young players, learning, and even pro players learning how to master the mind game is critical. It's so critical. So segueing from that, from the it factor, how do I get recruited? And I Coach Bradshaw and Coach Cam, I've seen both of you guys share your insight on this, and this is, I guess this is kind of like an AAU question per se. So let me fix, how do I get recruited? Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's a better word. How do I get recruited? What AAU teams do I play for? And then obviously, as you see, we have, this is, if you're watching this, parent or player, we have Coach Cam's camp coming up September, what day is it, Coach?
That's August 28th, Sunday.
August 28th. Okay, August 28th, we have this coming up. College Hoops Connect, and we have, who is this guy right here? We got an NBA certified trainer that's going to be in the building. Coach Bradshaw, I know you're helping out. I know Varis Cook is another guy that I'm familiar with that's going to be helping you guys out. So before we get into this, Coach, tell me, how do I get recruited and what AAU teams I need to play for?
Well, what I would say about how to get recruited, first, you gotta develop your game.
Right.
The game first.
Right.
Your game earns your name. If you don't have a game, they're not coming to look at you.
True.
So, and that doesn't mean you got to score 30.
Right.
It's just an understanding of how to play, and depending on what position you play. Because if you're a small point guard, you may have to do something totally different than somebody that's 6'3" point guard.
Right.
If you're a shooting guard, if you can't shoot, then you need to be able to defend and attack the basket and communicate. So all these little things, like it's a plethora of things that they need to know how to do to be able to get recruited. Now, if you need to be able to be recruited by several people, then you need to put a lot of things together.
Right.
But even I remember one time watching Cairo when they had Coach Stacy Stevenson's son. They had the big kid that went down to JUCO and can't think of his name in Florida, and they had another scorer. So it was three guys that was scoring the basketball.
What year was this, Coach?
I can't remember exactly what year it was, but Stacy just finished up at, I think he was at Voorhees about 2-3 years ago. So it had to be maybe around 2017, maybe something like that.
Gotcha.
But Stacy, the point guard, just facilitated when I saw him play in high school, like 2 games, getting the ball to the main guys.
Right.
Then I saw him in the showcase, and I never even looked at him as a college player because all he did was facilitate, and it wasn't like he was really getting in the lane, dropping it off. He just ran offense. He get it to Stacy. Stacy's gonna do his thing, the big kid dunking everything. So he didn't have to do much. But when I saw him at one of Corey Black's showcases, he came in with such a different mindset as an individual, and he's a point guard. And the thing that he did that stood out was he talked the whole time. He picked the ball up full court, and he let people know, I'm in you, I'm guarding you, I got this on lock.
Right.
And every time he made a play, he yelled.
Right.
He was locking up.
Uh-huh.
And then, he went and scored, he facilitated, but all that stuff was extra because what brought attention to him was this guy getting after it on defense and talking.
Yeah.
And that right there, he signed with Southern Union, Alabama. But prior to that camp, he had no offers because he didn't really do a lot with his high school team, but he did what it took in front of coaches at that event that stood out. So that's why I said it could be different, but you got to understand that. Your coach got to teach you that. Your AAU coach got to teach you that. They got to make sure you understand what sells and what you should be doing. So to me, that's how you get recruited. You got to put yourself in situations. And then the next thing I'll say is you got to let people see you. You got to go to different events. If you're not going to these events, showcases, playing AAU, showcases, elite camps at some of these schools, then how are you going to get recruited?
Right. Right.
Like if you're a big time name, Lou, you did your thing. You know, you're gonna get recruited because you put the work in. Like it's a done deal.
Right.
But if a player hadn't had the opportunity to create buzz for himself, like what you did, now you got to be proactive and you got to go and you got to pursue the recruitment.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a great take. So now, Coach, now just to kind of semi quote you, and without off the air conversation, this is nothing personal, but you can speak on the girls' side because Kennedy is on her way rising to be a high level player. On the female side, first year in high school, great shooter. She played on the EYBL this year. Now, have you guys, since you started playing, have you guys played outside of the EYBL, or have you only played on EYBL?
This was her second full year with Essex. He played locally the first couple years. So he did really well in a tournament in Atlanta. One of the coaches seen her from Essex, and another girl. And so what happened was, once everything fell through with the team locally, I'm not gonna lie, I just got tired of going back and forth to Atlanta. I was like, I think basketball is so much bigger.
Right.
Nothing against, teams or organizations that do that, but like if I'm going to tell Kennedy, if we're going to experience something, let's experience it. Let's see what it's like in Chicago. Let's go see what it's like in North Carolina. Let's go see what it's like in Texas and places like that.
Right.
And so what happened is honestly, she struggled, man. She struggled. Her first 3 or 4 tournaments, she struggled. Man. Speed of the game was just too fast for her. She could still shoot, but everything else, defense, it was just too fast for her. She ended up this year. She struggled some this year, but she's shown a lot of improvement. She's shown a lot more heart, things like that. Like she wasn't scared anymore. She wasn't backing down. As far as the girls' side of being recruited, I think the biggest thing is knowing what to deal with. Like it was to me. And sometimes you can be as good as you want, but if you're not playing with certain individuals or going to certain camps, that don't matter.
Right.
Sometimes it's about who you know and who you deal with.
True.
And that's the way it was explained to me, because like if you got a girl that's playing EYBL, right? Every weekend she's playing against some of the best players in the country.
Right.
So why am I going to recruit somebody that's playing, locally, that's going back and forth to playing in Atlanta? She's not playing against the competition. These cats that's going to these colleges, these coaches, the way they explain it to me, they want kids that's in the fire. They want kids that's going to compete. And it's just 2 different levels. And that's what I've witnessed the business side of things. So, and I know that every kid can't do that. But at the end of the day, you can take your kids, you can go to, like Chris said, you can go to these camps. You can get your name out there.
Right.
But if you're sitting here waiting on an AAU coach to do everything for you, and this, and this, it's just not going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to have to do some stuff on your own. You're going to have to create a Twitter. You're going to have to post your videos. You're going to have to post your highlights. You're going to have to tag people, and you're going to have to do stuff like that.
Right.
And you're going to have to put money behind your product.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that.
You can't sit here and, think a college coach is going to recruit you because you posted 1 or 2 3-pointers you hit in a game. No, you got to put money behind your product. If you go on Baller TV up in Atlanta and you had a really good tournament, pay that $99 for a highlight film.
Yeah.
Need to buy it. Coach, what were you going to say?
No, that's what I was going to say because I didn't touch on that point, but that last point was you got to have a financial commitment. The financial commitment has got to be there because that's, unless you're an exceptional player, well, for the kids who are right there borderline being able to be recruited by a college,
right,
and maybe not playing at a college, those players have to really have a financial commitment because it takes money to play AAU. It takes money to go to these showcases. It takes money to go to some of these elite camps.
Right.
And all these colleges are having them. So I remember when I did a camp about 3 years ago, I talked to all the parents about how much money did they spend in AAU from 6th to 8th grade. And a lot of parents were like, I spent over $5,000-$10,000 when they was in middle school. And then my question to them was, why?
Right.
Now it'd be different if we talk about top middle school kids.
Right.
Getting that experience and they put themselves out there. Now going into high school, they already got the rankings or whatever the situation may be. They already got the buzz. We're talking about local teams, that want to go to Vegas for the experience and play. And you're spending so much money. And then now, once they get in high school, freshman and sophomore, you've been spending money. So their junior year, and things are really mattering, you feel like you're $12,000, $15,000 in. Coach, I'm tired of paying money.
Right. Yeah.
This is when it counts.
Yeah.
So just to try to get them to redirect how they're looking at things, like play AAU locally just to get some run in, small fee. As you get into high school, maybe a little bit more of an investment, but you haven't tapped out your finances because you're going to need those finances your junior and senior year.
So let me ask you guys this. So now with travel ball, can I not be on a shoe team and go to tournaments where I can be seen? Is that because I know coach on your side, Coach Bradshaw, I know you on your side. You've spoken with people at the D1 level, and some of those some schools at certain levels aren't going to go anywhere outside of anything EYBL, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So so basically the window is more narrow to get recruited now.
The way that it was explained to me when talking to the recruiters and things like that was, this is how they go. They start with Nike, they go Adidas, they go Under Armour, and then they go to the lower level, like the independent teams and things. Now, that's on the girls' side of things. You also got to think, too, on the girls' side of things. Now, when you go to Nike or EYBL or Adidas, everybody can play.
Right.
But most you go to the independent teams, you might have 3 really good girls, and you might have 5 or 6 really good girls. Yeah. So I think the way they look at it, the competition level is just not the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Now the boys, I can't really speak on it because, to be honest, I've seen some independent teams like Derek Butts and them that could beat a lot of these shoe teams.
Right. What's the name of their team? Derek, what's the name of his program? Come again?
Team Georgia Magic.
Oh, okay, Georgia Magic. Okay, shout out Georgia Magic.
Like, I mean, the Warner Robins All-Stars. They field some competitive guys, and they're continuously getting kids into college. So, like, on the boys' side, I don't really want to step into that because I don't know.
Right?
And that's outside of my realm.
Right.
Well, what I would say it's the same, in terms of that level of presidents. You talk about EYBL, like teams like that. That's gonna, like all of the coaches are gonna try to get those players first. Right. But you do have some independent teams that got some good players. But like you said, most of those guys on the EYBL, they're going to have pretty much a team full of guys that can probably go mid-major, up to high major, maybe some D2 every now and then. And then on the independent team, they may have 2 or 3 that may be good mid-major players and then D2 level players. So like you said, for those higher level programs, that's why they say it's levels to it. If you don't have those high level programs, then you're not going to probably get the coaches from those high levels to tune in with you and try to, recruit your players. You're going to get the level that your players are able to go to. And even my program, which we like 2 years, we started back 16, then we did 1 year, then we took 4 or 5 years off. And then I brought it back 2 years ago, basically just to kind of help kids down south.
Right.
Our platform, use my relationships and things of that nature, and my teaching and stuff to make sure that they understood how to play. But we're building it up. We had G2 level players, D2 level players. That's what we had. And we got some D1 schools came and watched. We didn't have that level players across the board. So, but they you know what I'm saying? But we were more like a Division II level program, and that's just something that we're constantly working to try to bring in higher level players or build our players up to get to that next level. But that's definitely what it's about, man. You got to have the problem because these guys want to keep their job. It ain't about favor for Cam, for Bradshaw. It ain't about that. It's about, do you have what we can use?
Right.
If, you know what I'm saying? When you get it, let us know.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
for sure. Yes. I would have to say I feel like it. I can believe Coach Bradshaw on that side because any girl that I've trained that's looking to get recruited, the ones that do have a little bit of friction on recruitment played for a shoe camp team. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or you know what I mean or what. But then I do have some young men that haven't necessarily played for a shoe team, but their team went to the right tournaments. And like for example, like my team, we're not I've had my program on and off for the last 6 years, and we got invited to an Adidas Gauntlet tournament because they just were shorter teams. So they got, my group got exposure to that and got to see, like play against kids that were already recruited a little bit. So, and they had people in the building. They had some coaches there. So it was just, lucky. But so, there are tournaments and like you said, with the camps, as we're going to segue here now, think opportunities like you're presenting. Tell us we're going to look at the one that you have here posted now, Coach, but also this one as well. Yeah, because I know you have one coming up in September. We'll get to that one. But, so August 28th, Deerfield, Windsor. What do we have going on, Coach?
So basically, this camp we just wanted to put something where development would be the prime object of the camp. And we actually did this about 2 years ago during December, just to try to get some guys in the gym, coaches that were in town for the Christmas tournament. We invited them to come out and watch these kids play. We didn't let them play a lot because it was in season, but we went through a lot of skill work. So that way they can watch and they can evaluate what they know. We did some ball screen stuff, how they're attacking off the dribble, what that looks like, what the shot looks like off the bounce.
Right.
We did some 3-man weaves, and you'd be surprised at how many guys in high school don't even understand the concept of 3-man weave. And, so we just do a lot of college level drills for one development.
Right.
This is what you're going to need to know how to do at the next level, which you should already kind of know how to do some of this stuff in high school.
Right.
But you're going to need to know how to do it at a higher level for the college level. Like you can't, you may do 3-man weave, 25 makes in 2 minutes. You got to get that done. You can't be fumbling the ball and everything because you're going faster now. You got to understand how to do that. So basically, we're doing this just to kind of tap in with a few drills that they should know. I got 2 college coaches that are going to probably be there to help out with drill, talk with the kids. If you want to play in college, then you need to come and figure out what you need to learn. And then we're bringing in this guy, Elias, who when I engaged with him, man, he's got so much knowledge, man. He's worked with some of every college program for doing the pro days.
Right.
Yeah, he's done some of the pro combine camps down in Tampa. He's worked with a lot of these guys, man, that just got drafted recently, Anthony Edwards, Jabari Smith. He's had these guys for their pro days. And some of the information that he was talking to me about, which I knew about some of the stuff, but I just thought that it would be advantageous for the kids in high school that may dream to play in the pros to learn more about what's the significance of your vertical jump.
Right.
You know, and how that relates to the professional league analytics for kids getting drafted.
Right.
So they can understand, you know, the analytical side behind what we're doing in high school, but even thinking further about, like right now, how many kids in high school know what their vertical is?
Right.
You know, so he's going to come through and do the vertical jump and a couple more drills and things like that. He's going to work them out, warm them up, you know, but he's going to give a lot of knowledge. And when he talked to me about that, I was just like, man, I got to get him down to Albany, man, because our kids need we need these opportunities that they have here in Atlanta.
Right.
You know,
I like that. I like
yeah.
that.
And I've always been a proponent for that. Like, you don't have to go to Atlanta for everything. We got resources in Southwest Georgia that you can take advantage of. But a lot of the times they feel like, well, that's Cam, or that's Lou. They from Southwest Georgia. But we got connections and with other places and other people and resources to get the same thing, because a lot of the things that we all three been in Atlanta doing work. Right. And when we come to Atlanta and do work, we find ourselves doing either the exact same work with a lot of guys up here, or even better. Right. And it's being real.
Right.
You know? And but our peers and people in our community feel like they gotta leave every time.
Right.
Instead of attending things that are done in decency and order, that's providing the skills, knowledge that you should be, soaking up, so you can improve yourself as a player and improve with your opportunities.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's what's up, Coach. Hey, I'm a matter of fact, I if I don't have to go to Atlanta this Saturday, I want to come through. I want to come tap in with y'all, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. You come through, man. I may even ask you to, speak to the guys, man. Because
that's what I want to do that, and I want to help out with the drills and stuff too, or join the station out. Coach Bradshaw, you going?
I think Cam did. Did you ask me to come down there, Cam?
Yeah. I want you to come down.
Yeah.
Because I remember we came down like a while back.
Yeah.
And then, Coach, if possible, I might, bro. I got a kid, Jay Cooper, train here. He's a sophomore here. I may pay to just bring him too, if it's not too late for him to register.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, I'll keep the registration open, and we got it with discount, stuff like that, because I don't want people to feel like money, is an issue to not attend something, but at the same time, we got bills, I got to pay this guy to come down, things of that nature. So, we have to charge,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
hey, I want to see Jeremiah come. I want a couple of them guys that I tapped in with, Kamari, because my thing too is, hey, if you ain't got a ton of, if you watch this, if you ain't got a ton of scholarships, if you ain't got you need to come tap in, man, because it's for one, as you see on the screen, there's going to be 5-on-5 games, skill work, combine testing, you know what I mean? Like, come get yourself evaluated. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of talent in South Georgia that I think that should be in the building. So come tap in. Okay, Coach, I'm excited about that for you, man. And like I said at the beginning of the video, guys like yourself, guys like Jeremy, I started my business South Florida as I got started, seeing you guys both up here doing your thing, training, working with the youth. And then now we're all three guys like Jay Zachary also are very aggressive and passionate about trying to bring attention to South Georgia, because South Georgia has a lot of talent. That 6'6" kid that you had in there the other day, Coach, I like him a lot, man. I want to get in front of him again, the kid with the locks.
Coach Bradshaw?
Yeah, Coach Bradshaw, huh?
Which
the
one?
Tall kid, man. The kid that he worked out with Kennedy the last time I was there, he He's a 6'6" kid. He go to school in Virginia. I like him. He added me on Facebook too.
Yeah.
I added him on Facebook. My bad. I added him on Facebook.
He talking about Cam. He talking about Rashawn Tomlin.
Who?
Rashawn Tomlin. That play in Virginia.
Oh, okay, got it.
He's a rising. Because I also like this too, right? I had a kid by the name of Chandler Baker. He was at Walker School, and he went to Belmont Abbey. And when I first got in front of him, I was learning about his backstory. I was like, man, you're a D1 player. And I don't tell kids that. I don't even waste my breath telling kids that. But I'm telling you, I can see your size, your skill set, your mindset, your work ethic. You can play D1. And lo and behold, he transferred to Colgate this year. But that kid, man, I think the right situation, he could play at a maybe higher level, man. What do you think, bro?
Skill set.
Where's he at? You hear me?
I'll say that again, Coach Bradshaw.
His skill set. He got a nice skill set.
And then his size, though, he's huge.
He's at a small school up in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I like his game. So let's talk. Since we're talking about recruitment, let's talk about and coach. You coach at the college level. And I got a few more questions. I know I don't want to keep you up too late, Coach. I know you got a busy day tomorrow. But let's see. Where's my question at? Let me find it. I've been typing and adding questions in. Okay, this right here. No. NIL, because this could affect college recruitment, but then now even with high school players because I think I'm a firm believer in social media. I think kids should be using their social media to build their brand, because just like you said, with the investment that you need to have within paying for camps, paying to go to Coach Cam's camp, paying to come train with each of us, you also need your social media to show why you're marketable and how you draw in followers and you show your brand. Now, I love hip hop. The young community loves hip hop. I cannot be on social media trying to be Lil Baby, but I want to be LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know how to separate the two and use your social media platform to be. But with NIL, is it important for a player now flipping sides? Is it important for a player to be focused on developing themselves for NIL if they are getting recruited? And then how does it impact recruitment now?
Well, I think that's the new game for recruitment. These guys going to college, and there's been talks all the time about getting paid to play, but now this kind of gives them an opportunity where they can make money and it's legal. And if they built the brand, they deserve the compensation.
Right.
And so it makes a big difference. Especially, I know I've been listening to a lot of people talk in the realm of football, and the whole Nick Saban thing that he said against Texas A&M, about how it's really changing recruitment, because a kid can be a good player at one program, but another school may want to give him a larger deal, and that can be up and leave his current situation where he was the starter, but wasn't, making the kind of money he can make, so it just changes it up, man, where I kind of don't like it, but then I do. I like for the athletes to be able to benefit out of a lot of this, but I just don't want it to get to a point where it's just all about money.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Coach?
I like it because I want to get what the same how you so long, but they bring to the table. You got to you got football teams out here carrying 8, 9, 10. So I think something like at Alabama, and they're going to watch basketball, football.
Right.
They're not going to watch tennis. Those sports carrying.
Yeah.
So I feel like some of those athletes.
Yeah.
Now on the side of it, I also feel like it should have a different. They need to up and have some kind of rules and stuff like that a little different.
Yeah.
Like Chris said, like it's not all about money, because what's going to happen is it's already happening. You're going to have one conferences and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to see right now create their own college football.
Yeah.
And everybody will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
They could potentially leave, the NCAA have their own platform.
Right.
And I think, and the NIL and everything like that has a lot to do with it.
Right.
Because of the money involved.
For sure.
I mean, look at Oklahoma. I mean, you think their players, I ain't gonna say they wasn't getting paid, but you imagine the money their players are fixing to make now being in the SEC.
Well, the quarterback Spencer Rattler. Just because I'm very interested. I'm actually working on something. I don't know if you guys watch some of my shows. I have I've been interviewing people in the NFT and crypto space. That's something I'll talk with you guys off air about. But it's something that we need to be more familiar with. But the NFT space and the crypto space is a way to also help young college, young high school transition into college and current college players position themselves to get NFT deals. So I'm working with a group forming that. But I think from the female side, I think the females have to kind of create it a little bit more with their likability, with how they create and draw on their platform. I think because, like you said, because of their sport isn't watched as much, but there are females out there getting paid great deals. I mean, they may not be getting what the quarterback for Alabama is getting. Hitting back to what Spencer Rattler was getting. He had a deal with Dodge, or like a dealership where they gave him a supercharged Challenger. They gave him a pickup truck that was supercharged also. And then you remember he ended up not being the starting quarterback. And then obviously you saw the quarterback for Clemson was in a Dr. Pepper commercial. Yeah. The kid Mikey Williams has a shoe with Puma, and he also has he has a deal with NBA 2K because he was on the commercial. Him and Paola, the guy who was #1 pick. Mm-hmm. So now what you guys are saying, I agree, Coach Cam, that it shouldn't be all about the money. But since they are making it available, I think it's our duty to educate young men and women on how to leverage this, while keeping their focus on what we do, player development. But I think guys like ourselves are the great liaisons. We shouldn't let anybody else middleman this, because this also gives us a chance to say, hey, listen, you can't get this money if you're going to be out here acting crazy or not taking care of business academically. So we're the guys that should be forming a company, we're gonna player develop you, and also we're gonna put you in a position to get deals. If they're male or female that's transitioning, because we're the right people to talk to the college coaches, and we want, obviously, for all of our kids that we train in general, we want what's best for them, whether it's them being at the right college or them getting everything that they deserve for their name, image, and likeness. So I like the idea of it, but I think that it hurts recruitment heavily, because mid-majors are gonna miss out on those key players, because if a kid has an explosive summer, you're gonna see a lot of decommitments to go to a bigger school, when that's sometimes not a good decision as well. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see where this goes. Now, with us training players, and with us, coach, you're a high school coach, and then you have the travel program. Obviously, your goal is to get kids. You have Cam Sports, where you're hosting these great clinics. How does the transfer portal hurt our young players with getting to college?
Yeah, that's a big one right there, man. This had a huge impact, because a lot of the kids who were Division II level coming out of high school, they no longer had those opportunities.
Right.
A lot of the Division IIs are probably trying to get a transfer, either from another Division II or Division I, or just a college level.
Right.
So those kids now get pushed down, and that's why you're seeing the emergence of a lot of post-grad programs.
Right.
Now those kids are probably having to go post-grad for a year, and then the next year they're competing against high school kids to get the 4-year or the 2-year opportunity.
Right.
The transfer portal, man, in my opinion, it's had a huge impact on a lot of those smaller level schools, which there's probably about 600 to 800 colleges between Division II and NAIA.
Right.
And then you got your 300 some Division I, but as you see, the majority of the college opportunities are going to be D2, D3, NAIA, and even the Christian Association. So it's only going to probably make up about 25%, maybe 30% of the college scholarship opportunity.
Right.
And so now the D2, NAIA, even D3, even the Christian League, they're benefiting from these guys transferring down. They got a good program, they want to go transfer down and play,
Right.
Yeah.
And last question, by the way, too, guys. And Coach, I'm gonna have you back on again because I wanna ask you a little bit about those as well. But it's getting late, so we'll kind of wrap it up here shortly. But Coach, what's your view, male or female side? Coach Bradshaw, how do you feel about this transfer portal situation?
I think it's good in fact.
Yeah.
I think good side of things, kids in a bad predicament, he has the opportunity to change.
Right.
The bad side of things is it makes kids not hold themselves accountable also. So what I mean by that is if a kid goes out here and screws up, he can automatically transfer, go to another school, have no repercussions, and start playing the next year.
Yeah. Right.
In a lot of situations.
Right.
So I think it's good and bad. I think it needs to be governed.
Government.
Right.
Needs to be governed a little differently. Like you got some kids that's been out of high school for 5 years and they done played at 5 different schools.
Yeah.
That just kills it for other people, other kids. I can speak on a kid that I got now. Chris knows very well.
Right.
Nick Woodard.
Nick. Oh yeah, I like Nick. Yeah, I got to see Nick.
Nick should have been recruited.
Right.
Transfer portal had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Right.
His offers were few and far between. He had a lot of JUCO offers and stuff like that. But if the transfer portal there, he probably would have got a Mercer. He probably would have got, a lower level D1 or, a high level D2.
Yeah.
Like that. But the transfer portal kind of killed him.
I could definitely see Nick for sure at Georgia State. Like
the thing is with Nick, man, you're not just getting a basketball player. You're getting a worker. You're getting a great kid. He's a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying that because I know him. He's a great kid.
Yeah, he is.
Right.
He's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He's like that. That's what he is. And with his dad, that's just how he was raised. And I've had numerous conversations with his dad. College. When, Piedmont offered him. And they told him, like, after he did his workout with Piedmont, they offered him on the spot. They was like, I don't know what the hell these coaches are doing. Like, why are they not recruiting this kid?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But that goes back to these coaches who want to get, a more experienced player. Like 5-6 years ago, Nick probably wouldn't have had a problem, especially Division II. It would have been a no-brainer. Like, they would have been saying the same thing Piedmont was saying. Like, man, I don't know why the D1's not doing, but we got to steal.
Right.
But even with the D2s, a lot of them are still waiting around, and they want guys ready to play right now, and versus taking a chance on a kid like Nick, who's going to be a good player.
Right. Yeah.
One thing I did want to say, and Bradshaw pointed it out, is it does need to be governed because in a situation where, and we had a guy, I'm going to call his name, that when I was at Auburn State, I was trying to get him to transfer back home. He was at Division I, and coach got fired. So in situations like that, I think those kids in that program deserve an opportunity to transfer one time without having to sit out.
Right.
That's when it's beneficial, or in a situation where, you're the coach, whatever, but definitely a new coach coming in, team been winning games last year.
Right.
It's getting ready to be political. And this is what I told the kid. I said, it had nothing to do with you. Y'all didn't win.
Right.
And 2 points a game, and you're a post player, he's not going to try to keep you. And I said, so you need to be thinking about trying to get out for yourself. And I said, I'm not just telling you that because I want to bring you to Albany State.
Right.
I'm telling you because that's what happened to me when I played semi-pro, and the head coach got fired, and the assistant coach took over, and he wanted to bring his guys in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just trying to share my personal experience so he can see that it's bigger than me trying to recruit him.
Right.
He decided to stay, and they made it miserable for him. So because they couldn't come in and just take a scholarship,
right.
He got to go to them and say, I want to transfer.
Uh-huh.
He didn't say that, so they made it miserable for him. And then he called me the next year, Coach, I'm ready to get out of here. What happened? Yeah. They made, it wasn't really, I know. I know. You know what I'm saying? It was just 1 year too late because by that time I had left Albany State.
Right.
It would have been a major addition to what we were doing. But in a situation like that, I think those kids deserve an opportunity to transfer, and we couldn't count against them. A new coach is coming in, their coach is leaving. You don't know what that coach is going to bring in. It's not fair to those kids to be in that situation.
Yeah,
makes sense. And just to piggyback on what you guys are saying, more so on Bradshaw's side, I think that I'm biased to the transfer portal. Well, I'm split more so on the transfer portal, meaning that it could be good, but then there's also a number. Let me see. Numbers on basketball transfer portal. There was a very interesting.
There's a lot of
statistic on kids that like transferred and didn't get into a school.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, like if you're transferring, be sure. Like, of course, a money base is gonna get into a school, right? But when you look at some other kids that are just transferring, like you said, because maybe they thought that they were gonna maybe get recruited or get a certain amount of minutes. Let me see. I'll have to find. I don't see it. It's not popping up, but there was just an interesting numbers on kids that transferred and that didn't get recruited or into a school. So, real quick, Coach, before we get out of here, I just want you to tell us about fellowship real quick. How long have you been coaching there? And give me some insight on how is it, coaching at a private high school as well. And I'll let you get out of here, Coach.
Okay. Well, I'm going into my third year at fellowship, and when I came in, basically it was a relaunch situation. Program just never really had a great program there for basketball. But a lot of the other sports are doing well, and the AD has brought some really good coaches in, and so they brought me in to build a program. And the first year we did pretty good. Last year we went back a little bit because we were young. We graduated 6 seniors, and pretty much didn't have a lot of kids in the program. My first year there, we had 5 kids in summer workouts consistently.
Right.
This summer we had 22 kids in workouts consistently. So we're growing, but we're just young, and so we're in the building mode right now. And so we're looking to be very competitive this year. We don't have any seniors.
Mm-hmm.
We have two juniors that were on the team last year that be coming back, and then everybody else is freshman and sophomore. Now we've got more buzz from kids at school now that we've tried to recruit the last couple of years to play. So now they're kind of more excited about it. They saw how we played last year. We didn't even play well. We only won 2 games last year. All our games were fun. They were exciting. We had a young group. you couldn't tell that we had only won 2 games. You walked in and play, you thought we were probably 20-2, you know, versus 2-20. But that brought a lot of energy to the school, to the community. Right. So a lot of their peers was like, "Man, I'm playing next year, man, because y'all are making a good time out there." Right. So that's what we built. We built up that culture now where kids want to come. We got them in the gym all summer. You know, we got them in the gym in the fall. We're doing 4-on-1s right now. They're calling us about working out. So all this stuff is different from what they've ever done. So we're excited. The direction is we're headed in the right direction. We're hoping to get blessed with, you know, a 7-footer. All right. Sometime in the future. But we're doing really well, man. We just added a new coach that's coming from coaching college up in Cincinnati. You know, he's gonna bring a wealth of knowledge to our program, and my assistant coach is really good guy that coaching AAU and just a great guy. And so, so the program is on the right page, man. We're doing a really good job with the program, man. So we're looking forward to having a good season this year, and see where we end up at. Okay, and that's it. So those just the goals, just to try your best to have just a more productive season. Obviously, of course, I know you want to win more games. Yeah. But, well, the goal is to win. The goal is to make the state tournament this year, and we actually changed regions. So last year we were single A private, so we were playing against like St. Francis, Mount Pisgah. They won the championship. My first year, Mount Pisgah won the championship. Yeah, my first year. Kings Ridge played for the championship last year. Both of those programs in our league. They do a good job. You know, got some really good coaches. Been able to get some really good kids to, want to go to their schools or whatnot. So we're out of that league. We're actually in 2A this year. Right. So we have a better opportunity to compete, for maybe a state tournament bid. Right, that makes sense, and that's fair. So this is your group right here, Coach. That's our JV. That's our JV. Which 4 of those kids played varsity. Oh, okay. So some of these guys moved. Some of these guys got called up this year. Yeah, got called up, and it was mad. Mad. They wanted. They was mad. Like they wanted to play JV. Like, Coach, we got this game. We can win it. I'm like, hey, I need y'all on varsity. Right. It's time to upgrade, fellas. Hey, we came up, man. If we had an opportunity to play varsity, man, are we really worried about JV? We're like, okay, yeah, but it's just a different time now. But I understand they were young, a little intimidated. But I got a group of hardworking kids, man, and they love the work. Right, and I love how small the basketball world is, man. You now have heard that I was a privilege to train in Jade, and it's going to be interesting to see his development. He's a hardworking kid, plays multiple sports, so I'm glad that he's going to be under your teaching as well, man. So, and then, Coach, we're gonna, I want to get you on here too, Coach Bradshaw. Get you back on here separately. Just to kind of talk about and we elevate the respect for women's sports. I've seen you post that we got to support more. So let's talk about it. Let's have topics, about it. I have some female coaches that are going to be coming on too, man. So, Coach, I'm sorry that I kept you this long, but us basketball heads can do this all night, man.
We'll be doing it tomorrow morning, man.
Right. So, I appreciate you guys taking the time to speak with me. And then let's, this is episode 14, but it's open to doing this more often. Just having where we get on here and just talk specifically. Yes, you know what? It'd be good. And we can add more people. I can have up to 10 people up here at one time. But let's make it a mission that during the season, whether it's collegiately, women basketball, men, NBA, college, high school, I want to cover high school topics as well. But let's get on here and talk about it sometime, man. Just, we're collectively chopping it up on just different topics. Coach, we'll tap in with you, Coach Cam, on
updates with the season, kind of updating, everybody about how you guys are doing and be able to pick your brain about coaching and things like that. So, and then obviously I want to talk specifically about shooting. I want to get on here only, hindsight for us collectively and individually. What are things that what made us great shooters or what keeps us as great shooters. Quote, I like to end with a quote, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And that was from Martin Luther King. Episode 14, Coach Chris Cam, CEO of Cam Sports. And we got my main man, Coach Jeremy Bradshaw, on Jet Training. Great pioneers of basketball for just the basketball world period, but particularly for Middle and South Georgia, man. Keep a lookout for these guys. And me and Coach Bradshaw already worked together on some things, and we're definitely developing Kennedy. And then I'm looking forward to
talk to Kennedy, because Kennedy asks me every day where you at.
We just got to come up with a routine, man, so we can just lock in. Like I'm gonna get her 1 or 2 days. These will be my days where I can kind of, just get her in there, whether it's with me or a small group. I want to get it from some of the other kids you got too. I like you got a few. I want that college kid, the other guard that was
right.
Yeah, he over at East Georgia. I think it's at East Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. And then Coach, I definitely I want to collab with Coach Cam as well. We have, I've always had good synergy with you, man, and I want to keep learning from both.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's put some stuff together. One of my goals, I want to mention this too, man. And I know we could talk about the HBCU camp maybe next time. That's September 24th, but.
We'll get on sooner than later. Like that. There's no limit, man. This is my show, so I want to do that anyway. Like because I want to be a part of trying to get kids in front of you. Because I got a cluster of kids from Atlanta. I still got some connection with kids in South Florida, and then of course between kids that I have here, I want to start getting them in the mix with what you guys are doing, man. For sure, Coach. So let's just make a note to try to talk about that over the next week or two. To market that for your, I think that's September 24th, right?
Yeah, that's September 24th. Yep.
Let me get it. Yeah, I got it right here. Let me get it up on the screen real quick so we can show them before we get out of here.
And then another thing I want to mention is, with you and I, we'll talk a little bit more about this off camera, but I'm looking at, trying to come up with, really trying to work on making South Georgia basketball great again.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get people on board, just so we can educate. Of course we do player development, but I think education has to be given out to coaches, parents, and the players. And if all three of those entities are getting educated and getting these opportunities, then I truly feel like we can make South Georgia basketball great again. But we got to collaborate. We got to get everybody involved, and we got to start working together and doing more things.
Unison.
Yeah, and supporting more things in our area. There's going to be time to go outside the area to do things.
Absolutely.
But when there's something in the area that's going on, and I saw this about 4 years ago up here in Atlanta. And I've been, ever since I saw it, I've been trying to put something together, just brainstorming on it. But there was a workout where the Celtics, Express, the Stars, and it was one more. Who am I missing?
Right.
It was 4 of them though. The main 4 shoe sponsor teams in Atlanta. I mean the big dogs. Oh, Game Elite.
Game Elite. I was about to say, yeah.
Game Elite. Because I went with Dez when we first got the Wheeler there. So, I got under him a little bit, just kind of see what they were doing. But their whole thing was, they were always going at each other, trying to have a good program here in Atlanta, this and that. They all had good programs. But then they started thinking like, man, we need to have the best players in the country. Countries. And so they did a workout at Core 4. That's Paul Millsap's place. That's where we usually host our HBCU camps, where they had basically kind of like what we're going to be doing on Saturday. Same concept. Well, they had all the top level players on their team, and they had some of their, coaches that trained, and they had a couple NBA trainers come in, and just took them through some drill, the stuff that we're talking about for college. And beyond, a lot of those guys are high level guys that gonna probably play professionally somewhere.
Right, sure.
Some basic drills that you need to know, and it was surprising that some of the kids couldn't do some of the stuff because they didn't concentrate, they didn't focus on it. But to see that collaboration, that unity, and to come up with, man, we trying to make Atlanta be the hotbed of the country, not just Game Elite being the best team, Georgia Stars being the best team. We want all our teams to be good and represent Georgia or Atlanta, whatever you want to call it. And so that's my vision, man, where we could collaborate and connect with people that's like-minded to make South Georgia basketball great again. Because we all know at one point it was that place.
Right.
And we got to start, just kind of putting the energy back and trying to do that, and wherever it lands, but we got to just put the energy back collectively in doing that.
Absolutely. I like that. And I have a few ideas as well, man. So when we hang up, we'll short conversation about it. I know you got to go, but it's definitely something we should plan out. And I think now is the time to really plan it, kind of what we talked about before we got on air. We have a good gap between now and the spring and the summer. And I think what I also envision a multiple location type of thing too. Coach Bradshaw has a headquarters there in Warner Robins, and I have access to another gym in off of Dunbar where their coaches a church. Alan Whitehead and them hoop over there. Shout out to Alan Whitehead, it's a great group of people right there. But it's a lot of creative things. And then like Coach Cam, I know you're already going in that direction, but honing in on the girls and the boys, because I've seen a lot of talent here in South Georgia with the girls as well. Now, and honestly, I'll say this live on air. I sometimes have more joy in working with females, and that's from the pro level down to the youth, because for some reason girls tend to pay attention to detail a little bit more, even if their speed isn't there. Everything else with the technique and all is going to be perfect, because it's not so much about the athleticism with them as it is the skills. So that's why I know like working with Kennedy, hearing my voice and hearing Coach's voice, it could be special, because she's already a great shooter naturally, and then some of my views mixed in, man. It could from the village with this stuff too for these kids. We can create our own, our, like me and Jay Zachary talk about that, create our own rival sports type of setup where we had the camps, down here, and then also too being able to pull those kids from Atlanta, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to develop the talent here, and then be able to, all right, well, let's play some of these top kids or top teams, like invite some of these shoe teams down here to play some of our local clubs in a tournament where they'll play different teams, and then, just to kind of like a gauntlet, but I think that's just another creative way to think about it, just to, give these kids some exposure, and then us too, like you said, make the basketball elite and great down here. Yeah, man. So I appreciate you guys, taking time. Like I said, we'll do this all night. We're an hour 48 in, but great conversation. And then, Coach, we'll look to get back on in another week or two to kind of talk about this next camp that you have coming up, the Elite 100, which will be September 24th. And this is for HBCU Elite 100 prospect camp. So what do they have? They have to contact you to sign up for this, Coach?
Yeah. They just need to drop. They need to, send me video, a video, something like how I feel, so we could get it evaluated. We have a little criteria to make sure that we got, college level players in there, that coaches want to see. I tell them all the time, it's not about me and our staff. It's about what the coaches want to see.
Right.
We don't have the talent, we can come. So
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So September 24th is the boys,
Yeah.
And September 25th is the girls. Then October 2nd, we have a Birmingham location.
Yeah.
So we'll highlight this in the next time we sit down. Once again, I want to thank Coach Chris Cameron for coming on, and then I also want to thank my man Coach Bradshaw for popping in. Hey, Coach Cam, I literally sent. We were just getting going, and I sent him the message. I was like, hey man, if you got time, just click on. We're gonna still talk some basketball. So I missed out on a few questions, but I think we got some great, it's a great episode, man. I appreciate y'all.
Hey Lou, I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
Okay, all right, hit me up.
All right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'll holler at you,
man.
Okay, bye, Joe.
Episode 14 signing up.